My name is Lila Whitaker.
5 years earlier I married Connor Drake in a rooftop ceremony overlooking Boston Harbor that made society pages. I was the only child of Grayson Whitaker, chairman of Whitaker Coastal Properties, a private firm quietly controlling half the luxury developments from Maine to Virginia. Connor was a senior project manager at a regional contractor. Our worlds didn't touch, until I made them touch. I loved him with the blind, generous certainty of someone who had never been taught caution. Wedding night my parents handed us keys to a $5.7 million Back Bay townhouse. "This is your cornerstone," Dad said, sliding the joint title deed across the table. "Build something unbreakable."
For years it felt unbreakable.
Connor rose fast. I anchored the home, entertained his colleagues, kept the peace. His mother, Valerie Drake, began cool, silver spoon girls don't last, but the sight of her son riding my family's network warmed her. She started calling me sweetheart and asking for my mother's crab cake recipe she never baked.
I believed I'd earned their love. Then the Thursday night call.
Family dinner, candles lit.
My phone rang. Dad's name. I answered smiling. "Lila." His voice cracked like dry timber. The firm filed Chapter 11 at 4:17 p.m.
"We're done."
The wine glass slipped.
"Dad, that's not possible."
I backed the wrong partner.
A phantom marina project in the Carolinas. Everything's frozen, lines, assets, personal guarantees. "I'm sorry, honey. There's nothing left to give you."
I couldn't speak.
Connor took the phone, listened stone-faced, ended the call without a word of comfort. Valerie watched him, then me, lips thinning. The next morning the temperature dropped 20 degrees.
Valerie no longer asked how I was. She barked.
"Lila, the silver needs polishing. I'm not running a museum for fallen heiresses." Breakfast became commentary. Some people aren't used to lifting a finger.
Connor never interrupted.
He left early, returned late, spoke in clipped sentences. One night I cornered him in the study. "Your mother treats me like staff. Say something."
He sighed. "She's worried. We're all worried."
Try to understand her side for once.
Understand.
As if I'd become the foreigner. Months of erosion followed. Then the soft evening he called me into the library, voice hunted again.
"Sit." He poured scotch. "I've been meeting bankers."
"Your dad's in deep, but I found a lifeline."
Hope flared.
"Tell me."
"This townhouse, half yours. We can pull a huge equity line. 10 million, maybe more. Hand it to Grayson.
He restarts lean, repays the bank fast.
We keep our home."
"I'm doing this because I love you, and because family doesn't abandon family."
His eyes were earnest.
I remembered the man who once danced with me in this very room at 2 a.m. I believed.
He laid a thick binder down.
"Bank needs both signatures and a durable power of attorney so I can close tomorrow. Appraisers booked for noon." Pages dense with legalese. Yellow tabs flagged every signature line. I skimmed, trusting.
I signed.
14 days later he dropped divorce papers on the marble island.
"Sign," he said flatly.
"I'm done carrying a bankrupt legacy.
I don't love you anymore." Valerie leaned in the doorway.
"Should have seen the writing on the wall, princess.
Money marries money.
Broke girls get shown the door."
I stared at the petition.
"You're evicting me from our home."
Connor's laugh was short and ugly. "Our home? Darling, read what you signed 2 weeks ago. You quit-claimed your entire interest to me. Fee simple absolute. This place is mine now."
Among the loan papers had been the knife I'd handed him myself. I lunged.
He caught my wrists. Securities on speed dial.
"Leave walking or leave carried." I crumpled, clutching the document that proved my signature had sold me out.
They gave me 48 hours.
I spent them barricaded in the guest suite.
Then I called Dad. He answered instantly. "Lila." "Dad, he tricked me. The house." "I know." His tone was granite under silk. "Stay exactly where you are. Do not pack. Do not leave the property. Lock your door if necessary."
"I'll be there in 35 minutes.
"But Dad." "Trust me, sweetheart."
"Wait." I obeyed. 34 minutes later the street filled with the low growl of engines. A Obsidian Bentley Bentayga Armored Edition rolled to the curb.
Behind it, 3 black Range Rovers.
Dad stepped out, midnight chiton suit, Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore, flanked by 6 men in dark tactical polos bearing no visible logo.
No broken tycoon. A sovereign reclaiming his ground.
The front door opened without a key. Dad entered alone, Jennings, our family's chief counsel, at his shoulder. Connor and Valerie rose from the sectional, faces leaching color.
Mr. Whitaker, Connor stammered.
You're
here.
Dad didn't sit. I never left.
Valerie forced a laugh.
The bankruptcy
was a controlled burn, Dad said. A fidelity test.
I needed to see what kind of man married my only child.
Silence swallowed oxygen.
Dad nodded at Jennings. The attorney opened a tablet and played surveillance audio. Connor in a Back Bay cigar lounge, speaking low to a man in off-the-rack navy.
Once the quitclaim records and divorce is final, I flip the townhouse. Split 65 to 35.
Cash, no trail.
The contact chuckled.
And the wife
trusts me completely.
She'll sign her own eviction notice if I wrap it in helping Daddy.
Audio ended. Connor's legs gave. Valerie gripped the sofa. Dad's voice stayed level.
The wedding gift was never outright title. It was placed in the Whitaker Family Residence Trust, revocable, me as sole trustee. Upon dissolution of the marriage, or any unauthorized alienation attempt, title reverts to Whitaker Holdings.
Your quitclaim is void ab initio.
The lower court order will be vacated on emergency appeal.
You committed constructive fraud. You solicited a judicial bribe.
Federal time is the least of your worries.
Connor collapsed to his knees. Sir, please. I panicked.
I'll make it right.
Dad regarded him the way one studies a stain.
You already made it right. You showed me precisely who you are.
Jennings laid a single-page affidavit down. Sign. Waive appeal. Acknowledge the townhouse belongs to Whitaker Holdings. Agree to permanent no contact with Amelia. Do this, we withhold the bribery recording from the U.S. Attorney.
Refuse, and you're in custody before midnight.
Connor signed. Valerie signed. Hands shaking so badly the notary stamp blurred.
Dad nodded once.
Mr. Reyes.
Security chief stepped forward. You have 35 minutes for personal effects only, clothing, toiletries, devices you purchased yourself. Everything else remains.
My team will supervise. They packed under armed escort. Valerie wept. Connor moved like a man already in chains.
34 minutes later they exited through the service entrance, 4 duffels between them, heads bowed past doorman who no longer nodded.
The door sealed. Silence returned. Dad folded me into his arms. I'm sorry I let the knife turn so long.
I had to be certain.
I wept against his shoulder. I thought he loved me. He loved the access.
That was never love.